Yeah, The Hungry Caterpillar. Do you know this book? Have you seen this book before? Yeah? Tiffany. So, all right, so I'm going to start reading. I'm Cassie. I know I don't have it on my head. I have a little spot right here that says it. But I see everybody's names. Is it D'Angel? Is that how you say it? Yeah? Very nice. What a cool name. So, the book that I'm going to be reading, like Wesley said, is The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And this book is by Eric Carle. And he wrote the book and he illustrated the book. So, if he is the author of the book, what does that mean? Lots of words? Yep, person who writes the words. And then what's an illustrator? Draws the pictures, paints. Yeah, exactly. So, what'd you say? Yeah. And so, I like his paintings. Looking at the cover, do you like his work? He's a good artist, right? It's a cool looking caterpillar, isn't it? All right, I'm going to start the book, okay? D'Angel, are you ready to see the pictures? Thank you for having me come to your class today. So we're going to start, oh, careful, Gustavo. So let me get to, oh, look at all the colors. In the cover page, look at all the colors.
Why?
He's a painter. He must like to put lots of colors. Oh, more colors. And then it says, for my sister, Krista. So he made this book, and then he devoted it to his sister. So it's like saying, I'm going to write this for you. Okay? So there's the sunshine. And then here's the story. Can everybody see the pictures? Yep. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. So there's the little egg. Yep, there's the moon. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar.
The sun.
There he is.
The sun.
And look how big the sun is. I'll hold it like this. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. So here's the apple, right? On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears, but he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums, but he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries, but he was still hungry. On Friday, which is today, he ate through 5 oranges, but he was still hungry. Wow, look at all this stuff. On Saturday, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream cone, 1 pickle, 1 slice of Swiss cheese, 1 slice of salami, 1 lollipop, 1 piece of cherry pie, 1 sausage, 1 cupcake, and 1 slice of watermelon. That night, he had a stomach ache. The next day was Sunday again. The caterpillar ate through 1 nice green leaf, and after that, he left. He felt much better.
He's big?
Whoa. Now he wasn't hungry anymore, and he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was a big, fat caterpillar. He looks kind of like a pickle. A small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside for more than 2 weeks. Then he nibbled a hole in the cocoon, pushed his way out, and he was a beautiful butterfly. Look at that.
And I'm going to read a book that some of your friends picked called Bunny Money. You know this book? You like this book? Yeah, it's a fun book, isn't it?
This is Treasurer Steve Grossman. Steve Grossman is the treasurer of the state of Massachusetts. He believes in hard work, is dedicated to help others make better lives for themselves, and care greatly about community. Treasurer Grossman works hard to save money for Massachusetts and all of us every day. He tries to bring the most qualified and best workers to work for his department. Steve also is the head of the Massachusetts Lottery. Before Mr. Grossman was elected treasurer in 2010, Mr. Grossman spent all his working life creating jobs for other people and helping to find common sense solutions to problems. He also was in charge of the Massachusetts and National Democratic parties. Treasurer Grossman went to college at Princeton University and then to Harvard Business School. He is married to Barbara Wallace Grossman. He and his wife have three grown-up children, sons, David, Ben, and Josh. Boys and girls, I present to you our state treasurer, Mr. Steve Grossman.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll probably put it up there, huh? Yeah. So the first thing I'd like to do, your principal said to me and said to you that I'm married to Barbara Wallace Grossman. I've been married for almost 44 years. And my wife is a teacher. And she's been a teacher for 43 years. She started out teaching 7th and 8th grade. Now she teaches at a college. And so when you're married to a teacher all your life, you know how important teachers are. You know how hard they work. So what I'd like everybody to do before I read the book is I would like you to give a big round of applause for all of your teachers here today. Now that was a very enthusiastic round of applause. So you must have great teachers, right? Yeah. Absolutely. So the book that I'm going to read is called Bunny Money. Now I'm the treasurer, so one of my jobs is to manage all the money for all the people of Massachusetts. And we have in the bank this morning, if you can imagine this, $9 billion in the bank. And so I have to make sure that the money grows and that we spend it on smart things to help Lynn and all of you, and we invest a lot of money in education. So this book is about money, and I asked a few of your friends to pick the book. I had several books, and they said, this is the one we want you to read. So what I want you to be thinking, because I'm going to ask a couple of questions when I'm finished. I'm going to ask, what did you learn from the book, and is there some lesson that you'd like to share with a friend about money and how to use money and how to save money? So just be thinking about what you learned from this book and what the most important thing you heard. Okay, so this is called Bunny Money, and it's by Rosemary Wells. And there's a picture of a bunny on the front called Max. And I didn't realize that at the time, but I had a grandfather named Max, and he was my hero. He was the most important person in my life. And I'll tell you a little bit about Max a little bit later on after we read the book. So Bunny Money by Rosemary Wells. Max's sister Ruby saved up a wallet full of money for Grandma's birthday present. We're going to buy Grandma a music box with skating ballerinas, Max, said Ruby. Get your lucky quarter and let's go shopping. Ruby took $1 from her wallet to pay the bus fare. The bus stopped at Rosalinda's gift shop. In the window was a music box with skating ballerinas. "Isn't it beautiful, Max?" said Ruby. "Thirsty," said Max. He wasn't thinking about the ballerinas. He was thinking about getting something to drink, right? So Ruby said, "You may buy a very, very small lemonade, Max." Next door in Candy's corner window were hundreds of vampire teeth. Max knew Grandma would love a set of teeth with oozing cherry syrup inside for her birthday. How many of you have ever on Halloween ever had teeth that you put in your mouth that was a funny thing that you could eat? A lot of you, right? So that's that kind of teeth with oozing cherry syrup inside. Okay? He bought them instead of the lemonade. $2, please, said Candy. There are the $2 being spent for the teeth. Max wanted to make sure the teeth worked. He put them in. The teeth worked perfectly. Ruby had to take Max to the laundromat. Soap cost $1. The washer cost $1. And the dryer cost another $1. "Money down the drain, Max," said Ruby. Max said, "I'm hungry." It was lunchtime. Max finished off a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, 2 coconut cupcakes, and a banana shake. Lunch cost $4. If you only had one thing to eat out of that group, how many people, if they only could pick one thing, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the coconut cupcakes, or the banana shake, raise your hand if you'd pick the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Raise your hand. A few. How many would pick the 2 coconut cupcakes? More hands. How many would pick the banana shake? Someday I'm going to take this whole class out for ice cream because this class clearly loves shakes and loves ice cream. So lunch cost how much? How many dollars? $4. Money is running through our fingers, Max, said Ruby. They walked all the way back to Rosalinda's gift shop without spending another penny. "I'd like to buy the music box with skating ballerinas for Grandma's birthday," Ruby said to Rosalinda. "It's $100, said Rosalinda. $100, said Ruby. "The ice skates are made of real gold." So if you could see this, and if you want to come up later, I'll show you. You've got this beautiful music box with the 2 little ballerinas, and you see these little gold skates, and they're made of gold, solid gold. That's why this music box cost $100. So Ruby looked in her wallet. The only thing left was a $5 bill. "Here's an idea," said Rosalinda. "Bluebird earrings that play 'Oh, What a Beautiful Morning' are on sale for $4. Gift wrap is free." "We'll take them," said Ruby. So why didn't she buy the $100 music box? Anybody? Yes? Because she spent the money on other things. So the music box was how many dollars? $100. And she only had how much money for the Bluebird earrings? $5. So why didn't she buy the music box? Didn't have enough money. So one of the lessons is we have to all make sure that we buy the things that we can afford, because if you buy a $100 music box, but you only had $5, that means you owe $95, and if you don't have the money, it's going to take a long time to pay that money back. You have a comment? What's that? Use money wisely. And that's the big lesson, is use money wisely. So, Bluebird earrings that play "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" are on sale for $4. Gift wrap is free. We'll take them, said Ruby. Ruby gave Rosalinda the $5 bill for the Bluebird earrings and went to pick out wrapping paper. $4 for the earrings, $1 change, said Rosalinda. "You take care of this dollar, young man." So even though the Bluebird earrings were $4, wound up with a present for Grandma and an extra $1, right? So that's pretty good. "You'll take care of this dollar, young man." Max went back to Candy's corner. Glow-in-the-dark vampire teeth were half price. Most people like glow-in-the-dark vampire teeth much better than the oozing cherry kind. All right, so if it was Halloween next week and you had to choose between 2 kinds of vampire teeth, the glow-in-the-dark kind or the ones with the oozing cherry syrup, raise your hand if you'd pick the glow-in-the-dark kind. And which ones would pick the ones with the oozing cherry syrup? I think the glow-in-the-dark's won. Max bought a set for $1. "Oh no, Max," said Ruby, "you've spent our last dollar. How are we going to pay for the bus home?" Right? No money left, right? But Max reached into his pocket, and out came his lucky quarter. And Ruby used it for the telephone. "Grandma will have to pick us up," said Ruby. "I hope she won't be angry." Grandma was not angry at all. She was so thrilled. She played the musical Bluebird earrings and wore the vampire teeth all the way home. By the way, does anybody know the song, "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," that was playing on the music box? Anybody know that song? Any adults know that song? How many adults, how many teachers want to come up and sing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" with me? Come on. Senator? Representative? So "Oh, What a Beautiful," who's going to come on? Anybody going to come and join me for "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning"? Okay, so we've got a little group of singers here. All right. Okay, I think we've got enough. All right. I think we've got enough. So I give a lot of credit to these boys and girls, your friends, because they may not know the song. The song is from a show called Oklahoma, which was written many, many years ago by two men called Rodgers and Hammerstein. So I'm going to try to sing it, and I really appreciate your coming up, even if you don't know the song. So it goes like this. "Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye. And we'll think that it's growing right up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way." Thank you for coming up. My grandfather was an immigrant, like most of our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, because we all had parents who came from somewhere, and we all wound up right here in the year 2013. My grandfather came here 113 years ago. He was the second youngest of 13 kids, 13. And they sent him after the 6th grade, they sent him to work, shining shoes and selling newspapers on a ferry boat. But he wanted to own a business, and 1910, 100 years later, 103 years ago, he started a business that my two sons, David and Ben, now run. So that was my grandfather, Max. So I thought it was pretty cool that the bunny was named Max, and my grandfather was named Max, and my son's middle name is David Maxwell. Anyhow, I want to hear from you. Tell me, raise your hand if you have a thought about this book. What did you learn from this book? What was the best part of the book? Tell me what you learned from this book and what you liked about this book. What's your name?
To use money wisely.
To use money wisely. What's your name?
Liliana.
Well, that's the most important lesson of the book, right? Use money wisely. Here you go. What's your name?
I'm Larry.
Okay, Larry. And what did you think about the book? What did you learn from the book?
I know you have to use money wisely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And do you think Max used his money wisely, or do you think he spent it a little too quickly? And if you had picked a banana shake, a coconut cupcake, or a peanut butter sandwich, which one would you have picked?
I would pick a banana shake.
Me too. Who else wants to have a comment? Come on up. Come on up. What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler? Okay, Tyler. Tell me what you thought about the book.
I learned that you have to think before you do.
You have to think before you do. Very good idea. In other words, you have to plan ahead, right? We all plan. If you're going to plan a vacation, you don't just get in the car and drive. You plan, right? And you save money up so that you can go away with your family once in a while on a vacation. So planning, using your money wisely. What's your name?
Jaylene.
What?
Jaylene.
Jaylene? Okay, so tell me what you learned from the book, or what you thought about the book.
That you'd
So Jaylene says you don't use money that's not important. In other words, you use your money on important things, right? Like saving up for the birthday for Grandma, because you never would want to, nobody would ever want Grandma to have a birthday, right? And not wish her happy birthday and give her a little present, right? So let me ask 2 more people who want to come up and make a comment. Come on up. And then after we have 2 more comments, you can ask me anything about the Treasury, and hopefully I'll have an answer for you. Just one sec. What's your name?
Jose.
Okay, Jose, and tell me, what did you like most about the book? And let me ask you a question. If you had been Max and you had been out there with this money, would you have used your money in a different way? Would you have spent it on different things?
Yes.
What would you have done?
Video games.
Video games. But you would have left enough money for Grandma's birthday present, right? Let me ask that question again. And you would have saved some money for Grandma's birthday present, right?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay. We'll accept it. We'll take that as a yes. And what's your name?
Samantha.
What?
Samantha.
Samantha. Okay, turn around this way so all your friends can see you. So Samantha, what did you think of the book, and how would you have spent the money, and would you have done anything different than Max did?
That you can't just spend money on something that you want and do it on something that's more important.
So you shouldn't only spend money on something that you want, but you should save your money and use it on something that's really important, right?
Yeah.
In other words, none of us have all the money we would like to have. We all wish we had more money, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a little bit of money, then you think about the really important things, right? Like taking care of a birthday present or saving your last quarter so that you can call Grandma and get her to pick you up. Well, it's a wonderful book, and you've been a wonderful participants with me. I won't say audience, but participants. So thank you very much, Samantha. Here you go, Charles.
How do you make sure that the state uses the money properly?
That's the most important question. Come here, you stay up here with me. This is a great question. How do you make sure the state spends its money properly? So I'll try to make this simple. The governor of the state puts a budget together, and then the governor gives the budget to the people who make the laws. And that would be Senator McGee, who is here, and Representative Fennell, who is here. And together we decide, and we have to live within our means. In other words, if you have a certain amount of money, like in the book, you can only spend what you have. Now, we also borrow money, but the most important thing is you have to think about what are the most important things. So let me ask you a question. What do you think of all the things we could spend our money on? What's the most important? Roads, bridges, to take care of people who are without food, education, housing, new buildings, new school buildings. What to you is the most important thing we can spend our money on?
Education.
Education. So the answer to the question is we try every year to figure out how to take a little bit of money, because just like in the book, we don't have enough money to do all the things we'd like to do. So we try to figure out what are the most important things: education, health care, fixing our roads, sending money back to cities like Lynn so that Lynn can run the city and make sure that our seniors, our older adults, are taken care of, particularly those who aren't able to take care of themselves. People who don't have enough money for food need help with their food so that they have nutrition. So those are the things we try to do to spend the money properly. And I hope you, when you're a voter, hold us accountable for everything we do, because that's what voters do. They make sure that we spend the money wisely, and they elect people to spend their money wisely. Thank you for the question.
As a young reader, what book impacted you the most and why?
I don't think I can remember back to when I was your age to what book impacted me the most, but I can tell you the book that my kids, I have 3 kids, and I have 4 grandchildren. My grandchildren are 8, 6, 4, and 2. And I can tell you that the 2 books that they like the most, actually the 3 books they like the most, are Goodnight Moon. How many people know Goodnight Moon? I figured most hands would go up. I think it's called Alexander and the No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Day. Is that what it's called? Alexander and the No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Day? And a lot of you know that. That was one. And one more book was the Very Hungry Caterpillar. We all know that book, right? So everybody knows that book. I love that book. But there was a book that I used to read, now that you think of it, and it was called East of the Sun and West of the Moon. And I still have the book around that I read when I was your age. So those are the books that my grandchildren and my kids love the most, those three. And I don't think those books were written when I was your age, but East of the Sun and West of the Moon was my favorite book because it made me imagine what life was like in a different place. Not here where I lived, but in a different place, out there where you just could imagine. Because what's the most important thing we have sometimes? It's our imagination, right? And imagining things and writing about them and talking about them is what we do in our classroom. So thank you for your question. Hi, Jane. Here, come right over here. Turn around this way. There you go.
How do you decide how to divide up all the money that the state gets?
So the question is, how do we decide how to divide up all the money the state gets? And that's a very, very hard thing to do. And people discuss this all the time. Because if I asked you, what would you use your money on for lunch? Some of you said peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Some of you said coconut cupcakes, and some of you said banana shake. So there's a difference of opinion. And all those opinions are right, because each one of you said, that's what I would spend the money on. So if I had a conversation with you, Jane, you might say, well, I think we should spend a little bit more money on education, or I think we need a new gym, or I think we need new computers in our classes, or I think we need our roads fixed, and different people. So we try to balance off the things that people want and need and make decisions that are the best interest. But we have to do a little bit of everything, because you can't say no to older adults and seniors, and you can't say no to people with disabilities, and you can't say no to people who don't have enough food. So the answer is we try to do the best we can. People disagree, but we try to find an agreement. And if I tried to get an agreement among everybody in this room, my guess is we could get an agreement about something. And if you were asked to spend the state's money, my guess is you could come to an agreement the same way we do. So thank you for your question. Hi.
My question is, what are the biggest challenges and the biggest rewards of being the treasurer?
That's a great question. The biggest challenges and the biggest rewards of being state treasurer. Well, my biggest challenge is to make sure that we are able to help people everywhere, all over the state. Because in some parts of the state, things are difficult, things are tougher. There are more people without jobs. Some parts of the state, things are better. So it seems to me one of my most important responsibilities and the biggest challenges is to make sure we leave no one behind and we leave no one out, that everybody feels welcomed and everybody feels included. That to me is the biggest challenge. Make sure we all feel included. You know, we're all come from different places, but we're all together here, and we all need to feel embraced and welcomed, and that's what a treasurer does in terms of economic circumstances. How to help everybody get a job if they need one, how to help everybody get an education if they need one, and how to help create healthy families. Most important thing to me is family and education, working hard, and then making sure you give something back to the community to build your community. The biggest reward of being state treasurer are the people I work with. And if you asked all the teachers and all the people who work here at Harrington what their biggest reward is, I think they would say two things. First of all, the joy they have in being with each of you every day and to see you grow and learn. And second of all, I think they would say, almost as important, the relationships they have with all of their colleagues. Because when they work together as a team, teamwork, one of the most important words in the English language, when they work together as a team, nothing can stop the Harrington and nothing can stop you and all of your friends and classmates from achieving everything you want to achieve. So challenges and opportunities, working as a team, but it's all about the relationships and the people you work with, the people you teach, and the people you come to work with every day. I'm inspired every day in Treasury by the people I work with. They're wonderful people. They care about you. They care about Massachusetts and all of its people. And together we're trying to improve the quality of people's lives. Thank you very much.
Treasurer Grossman, is the unemployment in Massachusetts improving in 2015? When will it be better, and how are you handling this issue?
It's a great question. Is the unemployment improving in Massachusetts? Yes, the answer is it is. We're doing better than most other states. We've created in Massachusetts over 100,000 new jobs in just a little over 2 years. So that's the good news. But the not so good news is that even though in some places unemployment is much better, in other places unemployment is still too high. What's the most important thing you can give to somebody that will fix almost everything? A job, right? So the most important thing we work on every day is how to create more jobs, how to create more small businesses that are growing and hiring people. And it's a tough thing to do, but you know, in the city of Lynn and in other cities like Lynn, even though we've gone through very difficult times, there's an optimism and an energy and an excitement here in this city. The opportunities to grow, the possibility of building a new Boys and Girls Club, the possibility of bringing more people in who are artists, the possibility of bringing more companies in that do technology and other kinds of things. And I hope that each one of you, as you go on, whether you're going on to a middle school next year, if you're fifth graders, or whether you're here for another couple of years and then we'll go on, I hope each and every day you'll think about, how do I do the best I can in school so that when I get older, I can have one of those great jobs, bring up a family, and give my kids the kind of things and the kind of education that I would want them to have. So it's a big challenge. You asked the most important question, but the most important thing we work on is how to create more jobs. Because if we had everybody working, believe me, things would be a lot better off, and that's one of our goals. Thank you, Jose, for the question. Hi, Sarah. Here you go.
What made you interested in becoming the treasurer of Massachusetts?
Question, what made me interested in being treasurer of Massachusetts? So I'm a little different than most people who go and run for office because I was in business all my life. I spent 35 years running a family business. But then in 2009, 4 years ago, the economy fell apart. And we had a recession, and a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people lost their homes, and I'm sure we all know people who have lost their jobs, even in our own families. Everybody here knows somebody who lost a job. It was very difficult. And I said, maybe I can do something to help fix the problems, because I came from the business community, and my whole life was about hiring people, creating jobs, managing money, and I thought maybe that would be important to offer to the people of Massachusetts. And in the middle of the worst economic times in many, many years, your lifetime, I ran for office and I got elected. So it was really because I thought I could bring common sense solutions to the problems, like the problem that Jose asked me about, jobs and unemployment. Because if you come from the business community and you've spent your life creating jobs, and Jose says, how do we are dealing with unemployment and how are we creating more jobs, it seems to me sometimes those of us who have created jobs are in a very good position to help figure out creative, new ways to create jobs and to help people get employed and earning a living. So thank you for your question.
What helps you be treasurer for the state?
Okay, what helps me be treasurer for the state? You know, my father was the smartest man I ever knew. And my father said to me one day a long time ago, he said, Steve, you have one mouth and 2 ears. Use them in that proportion, meaning that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should be listening twice as much as you're talking. So the most important thing that I do as treasurer is I travel all over the state listening to people who have jobs, listening to people who don't have jobs, listening to older adults, seniors, and listening to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And believe me, the things that you have said today to me, the questions that you have asked me, the things that you said about the book, about living within our means and saving money and waiting and spending it on the most important things, those are the common sense solutions. So the most important thing I do that makes me hopefully a good treasurer is just to be a good listener and recognize the fact that anybody I meet is somebody who can teach me something. I learn something every day. The other thing is, I hope that I help people in their lives, and if somebody somewhere in Massachusetts goes to bed tonight having been a little bit better off because of something that I did, if their burden that they carry around is a little bit lighter because of something I did or that we did at Treasury, that was a pretty good day. And it's not a bad lesson for all of us. Be good listeners. Not only listening to your teachers, but listening to each other. Because when we listen to each other, when we look into each other's eyes and learn from the other person, that's when people communicate, that's when people solve problems, and that's when people develop lifelong relationships, such as the ones you will enjoy. You'll come back to Harrington years from now, and you'll remember some of your friends whom you were friendly with when you were back in the 3rd or the 4th or 5th grade, as I have. And that's what life is all about. Listening, learning, growing, and building relationships. Thank you for the question. Are we done? So let me thank you for inviting me here today. Believe me, you did me a favor by saying, please, Steve, come to Harrington and read to us, because this is the kind of experience that I will go home tonight and I will tell my wife Barbara about. And when I see my granddaughter Karina, who's got a dance recital on Sunday, and she'll say, Papa, what did you do? Because she's away for a couple of days. And she'll say, what did you do on Friday? Because I talk to her almost every day. I'll say, Karina, I sat with a group of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at the Harrington, and I read, and we had a conversation together, and I really learned a lot. So thank you for everything you have taught me today. It's been a wonderful opportunity. I hope you'll invite me back.
There are a couple of things that you said today that really resonated for me. One, of course, the importance of reading, which we know in education is number one. But secondly, and most importantly, about the importance of teamwork and working together. And I've been at this school, I student taught at this school in 1984, fell in love with the school, worked here for 21 years as a teacher, became a principal up the street, and came back 3 years ago to be principal here. And one of the things that I truly can say about this school for the past 3 years at least, the students, the teachers, the parents, all of us together work as a team, and it is why Harrington School is becoming successful. So I thank you for bringing that up, because we tell our students all the time the important part you play in your future and in the success of this school. We have a reading initiative, we call it the Reader Leaders, and we've had it for years here. And we'd like to present to you a Reader Leader t-shirt that says, Readers are Leaders, and E.J. Harrington School. So we hope
how's it look?